Hey everyone, happy Monday. We are live. Yay. Happy spring. It's the first day. Well, it's not the first day, it's the second day of spring. Happy spring. I'm excited to be here with you today for our how to go from wishing for paying clients to actually getting paying clients. And let's take a moment just to ground our breath, to get present, to transition into today's class. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And if you like, you're welcome to place one hand on your heart, another hand on your thigh or your belly. And you're going to inhale with me and exhale through a straw. Inhaling again. And exhale through a straw. And one last time, inhale. And exhale through a straw. And with your eyes closed, taking a moment to feel the spring, the energy of spring, the flowers in bloom, the sun is shining. And gently asking yourself, what is it that you want to give bloom to in your business in this season? What are you calling forth? What are you creating? What are you manifesting? Taking a moment to see if any pictures come to mind. Is it a group program? Is it more one-on-one clients? Is it a certain amount of money? And as you take a moment to see that in your mind's eye, ask yourself, answer for yourself, what is it about that delights you, that excites you, that makes you look forward to getting up in the morning to start working on? And allowing yourself to feel the excitement and the delight of this business project coming to fruition. Giving thanks in advance, giving gratitude in advance for all the people or the individual people that you're going to get to serve and help, and that you're going to be able to be fully self-expressed, sharing your gift. And taking another moment of gratitude here. And as I count down from 3 to 1, gently preparing to open your eyes. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome everyone. Type a 1 in the comments if you can see me, if you can hear me. I'm glad to have you here. Yay. Well, our topic at hand is how to go from wishing for clients to getting paying clients. And if you're meeting me for the first time, I want to welcome you to our Facebook group, Women Coaches in Bloom. My name's Kadidja Yansani, and I'm the founder of bloomintoyou.com. That's my website. I'm also the creator of the signature program, the Client Creation Queen program. It helps my clients to get paid, and really feel like they're putting all of their gifts and they're living their sacred calling. Some of the things that I've done in my professional experience, I've coached and consulted with dozens of Fortune 500 companies, including Visa, Charles Schwab, Clorox, and Robert Half, and more as a communications coach. I've worked directly with top 7-figure leaders in the transformational industry, women's empowerment companies, including Regina Thomas-Shire of Mama Gina School of Womanly Arts. And I've learned so much being in the company of and working with amazing powerhouse women. I've helped my clients do anything from get their first and next paying clients to hit their first $10,000 month, which is incredibly exciting for me as a coach to get an email, a text message, a messenger that something that they're doing is working. I have facilitated and led hundreds of workshops, events, programs, classes, online and offline in the areas of personal growth and business development. I'm obsessed with personal growth. I imagine that if you're here, you probably are. Most of the clients that I work with are really committed to their personal development, spiritual development journey. I'm also the mom of two. I have a 5-year-old boy and a soon-to-be 7-year-old daughter, and I understand what it is to have a full plate, but also feel like there's more that you want to do outside of your household, and that you yourself have a purpose and a calling, in addition to being a mom and partner. So type 1 in the comments if you can hear me, if you are with me. Awesome. So I wanted to do this live today on how to go from wishing for paying clients to getting paying clients, because a lot of women in my community, which means this Facebook group, which means my email list, which means the women that I get on calls with, share with me that they feel like their coaching is still a dream. Sometimes they say things like it still feels like a hobby, or somehow it doesn't feel real because maybe they're not making as much money as they would like to be making in their business. And today I wanted to give you some ways to set yourself up to feel like you're actually winning. So you can actually start getting paying clients if you haven't been getting paying clients, and to even attract more clients if you're in the camp of you've already started getting clients. And so many of you are in different places. So if you're watching this, maybe you're just starting out. So that means that your business is just a wish. So maybe you've been thinking about being a coach, but you're not actually doing anything to get clients. And I was in that spot for a very long time. I became a coach in 2007. So what is that? 2007. Look at me trying to do math. 14 years. And at the time, I went to a great program. I loved my program. And it really taught me the skills to be a good coach, to listen well, to facilitate the learning, to ask great questions, to be curious, to develop my intuition, all of those great things. I remember taking maybe one business class, and I think it may have been an elective, but I didn't leave my program feeling like I knew exactly what to do to get clients. So I've shared before that I got my initial clients because they were my practice clients. And then after that, I didn't coach for a while because I didn't really know how to go out and do that. And so if you are in the place of your business is just a wish, maybe you have some coaches training like I did, but you haven't actually done anything with it. Maybe you haven't had coaches training, but you feel like your work experience, your professional experience really positions you to be a coach. And you've been thinking about it, but maybe you haven't done anything about it. I have found that if you do know what to do, so there's the two camps, like I said. So either you want to be a coach and you don't know how to get started, or you do know how to get started, or you do know how to get started, but you're not getting started. And if that's the case, I know for me, it was fear that was holding me back. And I have seen that to be the case with a lot of my clients. And so, like I said, when I was a coach, or when I trained in my program, I got out of school, I didn't quite know what to do. I did the things that I thought you're supposed to do when you get a business, which I see a lot in my practice. So it could be like, I need to get business cards, I need to start a website, and I just didn't know what I didn't know because I didn't know. Right. And so some things that I was not doing, I wasn't making offers, which means an offer to book discovery call, an offer to make the next step. I wasn't hosting any events, but again, I didn't even know that I should be doing those things. And so quite frequently, I will speak with members in my community who aren't doing the things that they need to be doing to get paying clients. And sometimes it's genuinely because they don't know what to do. Other times it's they do know what to do, but they are afraid. So the first camp is your business is just a wish. And, like I said, this is exactly what I help my clients do in my Client Creation Queen program, is all the things it takes to go from wishful thinking to getting paying clients. And so those things are, number one, is that you need to be clear on who you help and what you help them with. Who you help and what you help them with. You need to have an offer, which is your coaching package or your event that is a solution to a potential client's problem or the desire that they have. And then finally, you also need to know how to market and sell your offer. So those are the things that I cover in my Client Creation Queen program. And I actually have an upcoming webinar that I'll be hosting this week, which I'll tell you more about later. And it's how I made over $20,000 in just a little over a month, and how I didn't launch, do a big crazy launch that most people feel like they have to do. So type a 1 in the comments if you're still with me. I would love to know. And you probably saw, well, I don't know if you saw, but in this group, there's a woman named Jackie who is in my current Client Creation Queen program that's ending tomorrow. She sold her first 2 coaching programs, her first 2 high ticket coaching programs, which for me and my audience is $1,000 or more, at $1,500. And she did not have a website. She has no email list. If you go to her, she has really small social media. The only social media she has is her personal page. And in less than 8 weeks, she got her investment back. So I'm just saying that. So you can go look in the post here in the group that it's possible. And I know for myself, anytime I hear stories of people who are doing what I want to do, it feels closer to me. So we said you might be in the camp of your coaching business is a wish. You may be in the camp of you've had some clients. I got a little hair here that I can't seem to locate. Maybe you've had some clients, but it's not as consistent as you would like. I know most people can feel really excited when they get their first few clients. And for some people, it can feel like a fluke, like there's that beginner's luck. And, you might find that, I've gotten some clients, but it doesn't quite feel reliable. You can't fully relax. You don't feel like you can trust it just yet. Or maybe you are getting clients, but your income goal, still feels far. It still feels like a wish. So type a 1 in the comments if this is making sense so far. So I want to share with you some things I think that will support you to move if you're in the place of wishful thinking, whether that's the wishful thinking of starting your business, the wishful thinking of reaching your income goal, the wishful thinking of, actually doing it, putting yourself out there. So what I've seen with people who are still in the wishful thinking category is that they truly haven't decided to go for it in their business. They really haven't yet committed to say, I'm going for this. And quite frequently, I say that every woman has had several moments in her life where she's decided that something is hers, something is yours, and that you're going to go after it. There's a completely different energy when you decide to say yes to something, where things just start to open up for you. Some other things I've seen in the wishful thinking category is that they don't have an income goal. Like where you said, this is how much money I actually want to make a month. This is how much money I actually want to make a year. Without that concrete goal, it's not impossible. It's really difficult to achieve. And so that's kind of your navigation, your starting point of saying, I want to lose this amount of weight. I want to, create this outcome. I want to get a job. I was sharing on last week's live that when I made the decision that, I'm ready in my life to call in my partner, I'm ready to have a family. When I made that decision, I let a lot of old behaviors drop away. And so this is the power of deciding that, I'm going to take my business seriously. Similarly to, like, if you were looking for a job, you would be looking for work on a daily basis. Like, just imagine you were living with someone, they were your roommate, and they're like, I really need to look for a job. And every day you see them, they're just on the couch. You're like, I don't know if this person is going to have their rent, at the start of the month. And so there's a different type of energy around that. So type a 1 in the comments if you get what I'm saying. So I think the first decision to make is to decide for yourself, is your coaching practice a business or a hobby? And so a hobby is something that we just do for fun whenever we feel like it, like knitting. There are some people who knit all the time, or you just, pick it up when you feel like it, and you don't have to necessarily market or sell it. You just do it because you love it. And you might go for weeks or months at a time without it. But when you pick it up, you just feel like, wow, I just miss doing this. But it's really important to remember that the point of any business, the reason why people go into business is they want to create an income for themselves. And hopefully, if you're in this kind of business, you're doing it because you want to marry your passion, what you love to do, with also earning money and creating profit. And so what that does is that it then becomes something that contributes to your livelihood. It helps you pay your expenses. Maybe you want to save. Maybe you want to send your kid to this school. Maybe you want to eat a certain way. You only want to eat organic food. And so it's really important to make that decision for yourself, because once you know the answer to that, then you don't have to suffer or beat yourself up for not doing the things that might be required of you as an entrepreneur. This is your out, that not every opportunity, not every business idea needs to be monetized. It can feel that way, but not every idea needs to be monetized. I interviewed a thought leader recently. She's a coach and thought leader, and she was sharing how she went to massage school. And part of the reason why she loved it so much is that she felt like she was in her head a lot, and being in massage school helped her drop into her body. But then she realized she didn't want to earn money as a massage therapist, but she utilized those skills to love on her family. And similar to me, like, I've shared the story where I was a former doula, and I had every intention of trying to earn money as a doula. And then I realized that I really love this work for myself, and it helped me, have a home birth. It helped me have an empowered hospital birth, all of that information. But I realized it wasn't something that I wanted to market or sell. And once I let myself off of the hook from that, then I could just focus on my coaching. And so for you, please be honest with yourself and ask yourself, like, do I want my coaching skills just to be a better manager, just to be a better parent, just to contribute to my life, maybe my church life or any other part of your life? Because being the skills of a coach will enhance every area of your life. You just have to ask yourself, do you want to get paid to do it? So once you know the answer to that, it's going to create a mind shift. And so if you've decided that your business is in fact your business, not a hobby, and you do want it to be a source of income for you, whether that's a part-time income or a full-time income, then you're going to act appropriately, right? And so we'll be talking more about what are things you should be doing in your business when you're taking your business seriously. And along that line is, if you have a job, or if you had a job, if you're not currently going to a job now, like, imagine if you just said, I can't go to work today because Mercury's in retrograde, or I can't go to work today because I'm not feeling it. Like, if you were doing that consistently over time, you would get fired. And so I sometimes see people cut class a lot. It reminds me of, I don't know if you ever went to the movies in high school. Type of 1 if you ever went to the movies in high school. But if you if you don't show up to your work as a coach, then you aren't going to get paid. And so somehow that gets lost in translation. I see that a lot. So some ways to know if you're treating your business like a hobby. One is that you keep avoiding doing things like generating discovery calls. And so for most clients, and for the way I teach, it's that you book calls with potential clients. That's how, if it's a fit, they might continue working together. So doing the work to actually generate discovery calls. So if you're avoiding doing, booking calls or inviting people into calls, that's not taking your business seriously. Hello, welcome. If you could type your name in the comments, I would love to know. I'd love to say hello to you. So if you're avoiding creating content, and so content, whether that's written or whether that's video content, whether that's a webinar, it really doesn't matter. But things like avoiding discovery calls, saying you're going to post and then weeks go by and you still haven't posted, it's like not showing up to work. Not making calls to action. So quite often, like I'll see people create content, they are showing up, but they're not sharing a next step that people can take with them. And just really positioning yourself as a leader in your niche, which means that you're showing up, talking about the thing that you say that you're an expert in, and letting people know how you can support them and how they can take the next step. So I think it's really important to just we all have, part of our job as coaches is to practice great self-awareness. And where are you avoiding doing the work that could generate revenue in business for you? Another way to know if you're treating your business like a hobby is if you just pick it up when you feel like it. So I would say that it would be okay to do this if you are earning money and you're not worried about money. So some people are at a position in their business where, it's like they can pick it up when they feel like it. Maybe they have passive income, or maybe they have, had a huge launch, or they've actually accumulated a certain amount of income and they are consciously making the decision to rest for the next few months. But if you're picking it up just when you feel like it and only taking action when you feel like it, but you aren't reaching your income goal, then you're treating your business like a hobby. And so it's really important that you have things that you're doing every week to generate revenue. And it's the same thing. Like if you were to think about if you were showing up at a job and you needed to send out an email, and 3 weeks later, you're like, I haven't had the time to send out an email, you might be having a conversation with your boss. So you want to treat your business like something that's going to pay your expenses. I would say this, sometimes the reason people aren't treating their business as something that will pay their expenses is because on some level, they don't believe that it will pay their expenses. So they're not showing up and treating it that way. And because there's a whole different vibe when you know that you're going to generate thousands of dollars from your efforts than if you don't believe that you're going to generate money from your efforts. So type of 1, if you're with me, if what's resonating or landing with you, I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. You really don't want to underestimate the power of decision making, of you making a concrete, committed decision to move in a certain direction. Like things just open up. When you decide that something is what you want, that's when opportunities open. It's not, I'm going to wait and see if it happens, then I'm going to decide, because nothing moves until you decide first and take that step. So that step could be, for some of you, that step might be like, you know what, I feel like I want some coaches training. So I'm going to enroll in a coaching program to improve my skills. For some of you, that might be to invest in business training so that you feel like you fill in the gaps. For others of you, maybe you already have a business plan. Like I remember having a business plan, I just wasn't working my business plan. And so for some of you, it might be actually beginning to implement the things that you've been meaning to, you've been wanting to, but you just haven't been doing. So once you've made that decision, the powerful aligned decision that this is what I want, then you want to back it up with action. So feel free to type any questions in the comments if you have any questions about what I'm sharing here. You definitely want, once you've made that decision about what you're going to do, so whether it's like I'm making a decision to reach a certain number of income per month, to work with a particular person, to market in a certain way, to be more visible than I have been being, then you want to back it up with action. What I've also found though, is that once you make the decision, like a solid aligned decision, sometimes less action is required, right? So I'll just give you an example. In my program right now, a woman came in and said she feels like she wants to start doing podcasts. And she was really clear, like, and I was like, okay, this is what you need to do to start getting on podcasts. Literally the next week, she said she booked a podcast. And a similar thing happened to me, that up until this point, a lot of the speaking opportunities that I've been getting, whether it's on summits or podcasts or, organizations asking me to come speak, they've happened organically and naturally without me seeking them out. But because I'm being visible and showing up consistently, people have asked me to come speak, which has been great. But I've decided, I said to myself, I'd like to book more speaking opportunities. And I said that, I don't know, maybe last month. Literally, I now have like 5 speaking things that I did not seek, but because I got that clarity that this is what I want to do, then it's interesting how the opportunities are open. And yes, I will still do some efforts on my part to bring in more, but I didn't even initiate those. Those came to me. And I wonder if any of you have had experiences like that, where you've decided that this is something that you want, and then you started seeing opportunities to do just that around you. So type a 1 in the comments if you can relate. So these are some things that would demonstrate that you're taking action on your decision to bring in more clients, to generate more revenue. So for some of you, you don't have an audience. It might be to create an audience. So whether that's on email or to start a Facebook group. There's a woman in my program now who she'd been meaning to start a Facebook group. I think she may have already had it started, but she hadn't invited anyone, right? And so she now has almost 100 people in her group in just, a week or two. So for you, it could be that, hey, I want to grow my audience. And maybe some of you already have an audience, and maybe you want to show up for your audience in a new way. Like there are sometimes, I've had clients who have lists, but they haven't been communicating with their list. And so it's something that you can just pick up again at any time and say, hey, I've missed you. I've been out of touch. Let me tell you what's been going on and what's coming up. So the work is, so it could be creating an audience, showing up for your audience in a new way, being really clear, identifying 1 or 2 marketing strategies that you're actually going to implement so that people know more about you and how you can support them through your coaching with the goals that they want to achieve. It could be hosting an event, which always creates a lot of energy. That could be an online event. It could be a Facebook Live. One of the things that I've noticed is that if in your mind, you're saying to yourself, I should be doing something, and you still haven't done it, you might need to do it in a smaller chunk. So recently I had a client who we were talking about doing workshops, and that seemed like too big a step. And so we took it down a notch and we said, well, how about a Facebook Live? And that still felt like too big of a stretch. And then below that was like, okay, a recorded video. So what have you been saying might feel like the next step? And ask yourself, is that next step actually doable, or do you need to chunk it down so that you can actually do it get the success and create momentum and feel like you can do it again. So the things that I mentioned, whether it's nurturing your audience, whether it's marketing, whether it's hosting, those are the things that are your job as a coach, right? So like when you go to your job, there are things that you do. Maybe you have to engage with clients. And so similarly here, as a coach, there are things that you do for your job. And hopefully you love it. So like part of my job is, or at least for the time being, like I come here and do lives and offer these trainings once a week. Glad you made it, Yolanda. Part of my job is coming here once a week and sharing some content that I'm hearing happening in my community and hopefully offering some value that's going to support you in taking the next steps in creating clients. And so what happens is if you delay taking any kind of action, you're postponing getting paid. And it might sound obvious when I'm saying it, but when I'm actually speaking to people, whether it's on discovery calls or potential clients, sometimes because working for yourself requires a different type of discipline. When you go to a job, you know that you have to be there from 8 to 5. You know that you're going to get however many breaks or an hour lunch. And your employer, your boss is expecting, your manager is expecting some work from you. When you work for yourself, you're the manager, you're the boss, but then you might also be the worker unless you are at a position in your business where you're able to hire out some things. So it requires a different type of motivation, and it can be very easy to let days go by where you're not actually doing work that's going to actually help you generate clients. And so it's really important that you know what money-making activities are and are able to focus on that. And so if you can type a 1 in the comments, if you can relate to, that being a coach, being a solo entrepreneur can be different than having a job. Yolanda says, definitely, that employee mindset has been the most difficult hurdle to get over, right? And I would say that it's a difficult hurdle for most people. And one of the things that can help is to treat your coaching business is the job that you've created for yourself. And so how much income do you want to make? How many clients will you need? You want to reverse engineer everything. And so how much income do you want to make? How many clients do you actually need to enroll in order to reach that goal? Now, what are the things that you're going to do to actually get in front of your ideal clients and to enroll them? And there are lots of ways to do that. But you're absolutely right. And just that simple mindset of like going to work, setting hours for yourself, that having some consistency. So for me, like I do these lives every Monday. Maybe you say to yourself that you're going to do a live for your community once a week or twice a week, or what are the things that you're going to do on a consistent basis, on a weekly basis to generate clients. And so that accountability container can be incredibly supportive in terms of achieving that goal. And then finally, it's like you just want to ask yourself, do you have a plan for the results that you want to create? Because without a plan, then it's still in the wishful thinking category. So what takes something from wishful thinking, and I'm not putting down wishful thinking. I think things start as a wish, things start as a dream, and what makes it real, what makes it tangible, what makes it manifest is us actually doing things on the physical plane to make it real. So if you're in the place of like, I'd like to be a coach, ask yourself, what am I going to do this week? This is Monday. This is the start of the week. What am I going to do this week to generate clients? What's my offer? How can I speak to the needs of my ideal clients? And you definitely want to make sure that you're taking the right actions, which we call money-making actions, which we go over in my Client Creation Queen program. So I want to share with you that I have an upcoming webinar, like I said earlier at the top, this week on Wednesday. It's called How I Made Over $20,000 in just under 2 months, in like 40 days. And so I'm going to be sharing that webinar with you and what kind of money-making activities I put in action. And that link is going to be in the comments. It's a free webinar. I'd love to have you in there. You can register for free in the link on the screen or in the comments. And if you have any questions about what we've covered today, I'm happy to answer them or to come back here in the Facebook group and answer them. We have our Client Creation Queen group program coming up again in the next week or so, where we cover all that you need to know to get paying clients. So that covers mindset, how to really get clear on your niche and how to communicate in a way that is relevant for your audience, how to price and package your services, how to build your community for business growth, because you want to have people to share your teachings with, to share your offers with, so that you can enroll clients. We go over sales conversations and really how to coach your clients to success so that you get quality testimonials that creates social proof so that you can continue to get paying clients. So if you'd like to know more about that, we are enrolling for that now, and you're welcome to DM me for that. Let me see if there's anything else I didn't want to say. Yeah, that what makes your business real is, number one, you deciding and committing to go for it. All of the things I now do in my business, and I've done a lot of things in my business. I've led a retreat. I've hosted summits. I've built a thriving Facebook community, a thriving email list. All of those are things that I invested to learn how to do. So if you really don't know how to do something, you don't have to let that be the source of like victimization, like I don't know how to do something. Like you can learn. So if you're in a place of I don't know how to get clients, you absolutely can learn how to get clients. And if you are in a place where you know how to get clients, but you're not getting them, it could be that you need the container and structure of support. And so whether you identify with me, if you resonate with me, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you to see if it's a fit. And if there's someone else that you resonate more with, I still recommend getting the support and the container to move forward. I'm opening the floor for questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to share. And so along the line of the vein of support, I shared earlier that I have a 5-year-old and I have a soon to be 7-year-old. And so he hasn't been in preschool. He hasn't been in preschool because of the pandemic. And my mom is a retired preschool teacher. So technically, I'm a smart woman. I'm college educated. Like, I feel like I have the intelligence to create little lesson plans for him. But have I been doing it? No. And so what did we do is we enrolled him in a online preschool. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that it's not always about whether you're smart enough to figure something out. Sometimes you just need the container of support. So like there are other parents there. I now have to, because of his school, like we set up his room to learn. We put his desk in there, and they have all these things that you can do to support your child to win at school. And so my point here is that you want to set yourself up to win and thrive in your business. If it's taken you a long time to achieve something, more often than not, it's because you need help or support to do that. So I encourage you to not sacrifice that. And so if you have any questions about the Client Creation Queen program or my upcoming webinar, you're welcome to type them in the chat. And so I mentioned the thing about the preschool. So me signing up for that, it's going to be great for him, but I feel like it's given me some structure to work with him rather than me creating it on my own. And I have found that a lot of people thrive that way. I'm not saying that it's the only way. There are other parents that they can do that on their own without that structure, but it's important to know what you thrive with, what supports you to win. And so I have found over and over again that having a container of structure and support is inevitable. All right, everyone. Someone says, how do I go out of wishing? How do I go out of wishing for clients? Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, you can catch the replay, but I'll quickly share that what makes something a wish is that it's still in your mind. Oftentimes when we're wishing for something, we'll say things like, that would be nice, or that sounds cool, right? Like there's a way in which you might believe that it can't happen. But the way to make it happen is to be really clear about what you want. How much money do you want to make in your coaching business? Why do you want to make that amount of money? What is it going to do for you? Do you have a compelling why? If you don't have a compelling why, as soon as you put yourself out there and you don't get the response that you want, it's going to be easy to give up. So be really clear about how much income you want to make, how many clients you need to reach that income goal. And you want to have a concrete plan to achieve that. And the truth is that I was going to say that sales is not new. Like people have studied sales, have studied business, have studied marketing. So there's so many things that you can follow a proven format. There's so many ways to grow your business. You want to find someone who their method you identify with and see how you can implement that in your own practice. But you definitely want to decide on what you want, and you want to move your feet as well. And so oftentimes people that are in the wishful thinking category, they're not moving their feet and not using enough exertion to achieve their goal. And by exertion, I don't mean like heavy exertion and working really hard and working to their bone. I don't mean that at all, but I mean aligned action. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so I'll be here in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for joining. I hope you join us on the webinar coming this week. And if you have any questions about how to make your coaching business real, how to manifest your coaching business, feel free to reach out. And until next time.